Alright everybody, welcome back to Warpzone, where last time we upgraded the boiler basement with the new electric smelting area, capable of processing red belts of iron and copper plates, all powered by this nuclear reactor which can provide up to 160 megawatts of power. We also got this oil storage ring around the smelting area, and the harvester floor has been rebuilt as well, with a new chest storage system capable of storing up hundreds of thousands of resources. Currently we've got about 20k copper, iron and coal. And last but not least, we've got a compact electric steel smelting setup, so we are capable of processing 2 red belts of iron ore. We are not there quite yet, but with some extra mining productivity bonus we can get more and more of these red belts of ore filled up. Fighter Revolution currently sits at 99%, so let's actually show 4 decimals instead of 1. 99.0183% evolution after almost 5.5 hours on this planet. How much longer will we have to be here? I don't know. Probably quite a while. The pollution cloud is catching up to our iron mine, which is bad, but we need to stay here a little bit more because we need to support the uranium mine over here. It has run out of sulfuric acid. We've got 14 shiny green rocks in total, so we would like to refill that once more so we can get up to 40 to start off Covrix enrichment processing later. Our copper miner is located in a far more safe location and is doing quite fine. Oil is still connected to it, and we have stone and stone brick smelting over here. These have run out as well, the stone chests are full, so we're probably going to have to haul in those resources as well and refuel the furnaces. On the warp factory floor we've got the warp beacon upgraded to 3 modules. However, it is not yet covering the entire floor. For that we need to upgrade the warp beacon even further. That however requires purple signs and even yellow signs for the next level. So those are probably going to be our next research goals. With the new smelting system in place, we finally got a full belt of steel, and we're even accumulating more steel in this buffer chest over here. But until we are actually producing 2 full belts of iron ore, we will just productivity module up this steel smelting setup completely to make the most out of every iron ore that is coming in. And the warp beacon is doing a great job already supplying us with resources, so let's make some more of those modules, as well as some speed modules. With production science finished, we just want to continue working on increasing the size of this warp factory floor, as well as the size of these hallways. So let's research warp factory floor 5, which is the last technology in the blue science era. After this we'll require purple science as well. And then we want to get this next bridge size upgrade, which increases the size of these hallways. That requires us to research these 4 technologies as a prerequisite. The 4 turret upgrades, which increase the size of these corners over here. And since purple science is pretty heavy on our steel supplies, we will also priority output our iron ore to steel, so that once we start making purple science we will have plenty of steel available for us. The drive over to uranium is certainly not without dangers anymore, as we are heavily polluting these biter nests which could be sending out attacks to the warp platform. Well, fortunately we made that without issue, so now we can refuel the uranium mine again, and we can take home these lovely 14 shiny green rocks. and the barrels. Let's also not forget to module up our green uranium centrifuges with some shiny green modules. We've already got 23 of these shiny green rocks available, and hopefully with the next batch of mining we'll be able to surpass 40 of them, so we can start off that nice Covarex enrichment process, and we won't have to mine uranium ever again, as we can simply turn these dark green rocks into more shiny green rocks. And with the iron ore priority on steel, that finally gives us a chance to get rid of this iron ore we have been building up in the previous iteration of this harvester floor. Steel is filling up nicely, and we've already got 2 full chests available. We have also been busy producing more modules in all 3 colors of the Factorio rainbow. But as you may notice, our labs are no longer researching, because we are out of military science. And we are out of military science because we are out of stone for walls. So let's grab our last little bit of stone bricks, supply it to the walls, which means that before we can start up purple science, we will have to go out and pick up that stone at our external stone mine. The size of the factory floor has meanwhile been upgraded, and we catch the right moment to watch the hallways expand on camera. Nice! All of the most pressing research projects have been completed, so let's start slogging through the expensive rest of the blue tech era with technologies like lab research speed, more damage for our gun turrets still supplied by yellow ammo, rocket fuel perhaps, and the whole rest of the ignored red and green science technologies. We will first upgrade the engine assemblers with some speed modules, so they will finally be able to keep up with these blue science assemblers. Nice. Since we already have over 60,000 copper stored up, we are just going to take the copper mining platform with us and mark the proper location to place it back with a chest. So yeah, you know the drill. Just place the mining platform close by, have your gun turret overlap with the electric power pole, grab all the resources until nothing fits anymore, and we'll just make several trips inside to store all the stuff away. Well, that took a fair few trips, but I'm happy to say now we've got 28,000 stone and 16,000 bricks added to our buffer chest system as well. Nice. Now we just gotta put the copper miner back in its place and reconnect the power. Meanwhile, the pollution from the warp platform is now touching the pollution from the iron miner, and new enemy expansions are settling nearby. Hopefully the uranium mine will be able to produce enough shiny green rocks for us to start off Covarex enrichment before we need to pack it up and run away. Physical projectile damage 5 finishes, which increases the damage on our gun turrets from 21 to 25. Not great, and that's why I didn't research it before, as it was costing a whopping 500 of each science pack. With all of the outside shenanigans out of the way, we can finally focus on getting the last 2 science packs up and running. Starting with purple science. You see, normally we get seduced by those shiny toys like the Mark II personal roboport or the Mark II power armor, but in Warptorio, the Warp Beacon is just so OP We want to upgrade this baby first. And we also would like access to the Mark III assemblers, which will further increase our productivity bonus and crafting speed for the most important areas of our factory. The plan is to feed rails directly into the purple science assemblers from the back, while the iron sticks is output on 2 belts to support the rails. Eventually we will have more of those yellow science toys set up, like a proper logistics system, but until that time comes, we will just have to hand feed our way to the first 1200 purple signs. That is gonna require 4000 red chips and 10,000 steel, but I bet thanks to the productivity bonus from the warp beacon, we will already have that. Nice! 6000 steel goes into rails, as well as 6000 stone and a whole bunch of productivity modules iron sticks. And for the furnaces we have 4000 bricks, 4000 steel, 2000 red chips, and the other 2000 red chips are gonna be for productivity modules. So let's start it up and start producing our first purple science ingredients. While the purple science ingredients are being produced, we can meanwhile work on other parts of the base, like properly setting up all ingredients for yellow science, starting with blue chips. For now we'll feed them by chest, but eventually red chips will be brought over by logistics bots and green chips will flow in on this belt. Low density structures. And bot frames. With so many of Warptorio's technologies require multiple of the earlier science packs, and with the extra space available, I think it would be a good idea to increase red and green science production a little. Similar to blue chips, electric engines will rely on the logistics network for its supplies, so we have to kickstart it with some manual feeding. Nice! The electric engines will go in this chest, and once we have 200 of them, they will be fed out on this belt to be turned into bot frames. Now off to collect the stuff for bot frames. And there we've got our first bot frames. We take a quick peek outside and discover to our horror that the pollution cloud is already almost overlapping with our iron mine, and it has snuck right up at the uranium mine. Uranium still has 10k sulfuric acid to go through, and it has only produced 14 shiny green rocks, so we'll need to wait for more still. The stone mine is still happily chugging along. And the lightly defended oil field has seen no problems at all. While we constructed all of that, all of the purple science ingredients are done. So we can divide them over the assemblers and the supply chests. And soon the first purple science is being transported to the labs. With all of that machinery running on full productivity, our power draw is up to 110 megawatts out of the 160 megawatts maximum. And we happen to arrive just at the moment the steam tank runs below 5k and a new fuel cell will be inserted. You can see the steam buffer doesn't immediately begin to fill up. There is a little bit of lag in the system, so it takes a while before the steam tank starts filling up again. And our power situation definitely won't be helped by us going for the Mark III assembler first, which is a lot more power hungry than the Mark II, especially under the influence of lots of modules. And we prepare for making the Mark III assemblers with some patented Michael Hendricks handcrafting. And hand feeding. We immediately rush down to yellow and purple signs, which will be the first assemblers we will upgrade. The crafting speed has increased from 0.75 to 1.25, but that's not all. We can now also fit 2 more productivity modules inside. And that bumps the productivity from plus 20% to plus 28% at the cost of barely any speed. Of course, these Mark III assemblers immediately take one of the top spots in the power graph. With yellow and purple signs fully upgraded with Mark III assemblers and productivity module, the next thing we want to upgrade is gonna be the warp beacon. So let's queue up warp beacon slot 4. But it's like the game is telling us something. It wants us to research productivity module 3, speed module 3 and efficiency module 3 first. And indeed, it's an excellent idea to upgrade the modules in the warp beacon to the Mark III variant. Upgrading to those expensive Mark III modules is gonna be a severe strain on our green, red and blue chips. So before we produce more blue chips, we first upgrade those to the expensive Mark III assembler as well. And of course give them double the productivity modules. Before starting it up, currently at 28% productivity bonus, which will soon skyrocket into greatness. It is time to start making a whole bunch more Mark II modules so we can afford the Mark III modules. Since we can unlock up to 8 module slots with just yellow and purple signs, before we need the infinite space signs as well, we're going to want to make 8 Mark III modules. 1 speed module for every 3 productivity modules sounds like a good balance. So here we go with the patented Michael Hendricks hand feeding method. So I believe that's all the Mark II modules. Let's get on to the Mark III productivity module. And that's the first 2 Mark III productivity modules. Let's immediately insert those in the Warp Beacon. In this playthrough, the Warp Beacon is infinitely more important than upgrading the labs or science itself, as the Warp Beacon will eventually cover the entire factory floor and its distribution efficiency is 1. That means the modules which are in here will effectively be also present in every single assembler, lab and whatever on the entire factory floor. As soon as we upgrade these, we have 36% in the assemblers and 28% in the labs. Nice! And the module slots are gonna keep on expanding from here on out. Soon though, Mark III speed module completes as well. And we can make those 2 Mark III speed modules. We are still looking to upgrade the modules in the labs and in purple and yellow signs to the Mark II variant. For that we will need 48 plus 32 is 80 Mark II modules in total, which equates to 400 blue chips. Expensive, but not so expensive like 2400 blue chips for the Mark III variant. Although this time let's take the more normal approach. This upgrading of the Warp Beacon modules, however, is putting us pretty close to our 160 megawatts maximum. Before we will be able to afford more modules in the Warp Beacon, we will need to double our power. So before I said I was planning to find all of my nuclear reactors in loot chests, but to be honest, at this point I just do not want to invest the time it takes to find them, especially with the effect of the Warp Beacon making all of the resources inside of the base cheaper. The thing is, I just spent most of my red chips, so I cannot actually make 2 reactors at the moment. We would need 1000 of those. So I guess it is time to also upgrade red and green chips over here, so we can make those faster. And hope we don't run out of power doing so. Alright, so we go up from 28 to 36% productivity, as well as giving the crafting speed a 66% boost. So we should be making close to twice as many red and green chips now. And I guess the speed modules should be finished as well. So let's upgrade the speed of the Warp Beacon as well. And while the Warp Beacon currently does not cover the entire factory yet, with just 2 more upgrades it will. But for that we will also need to produce 700 yellow science packs. And indeed, with all of that running, We are now consuming 148 megawatts out of the 160 megawatt total, so it is definitely time to upgrade the power situation. So before we further upgrade our factory into a brownout, let's start making the elements of the new nuclear reactor. I've got the requirements right here: 16 heat exchangers, 32 steam turbines and 50 heat pipes. And that should do. Now we just need the 2 nuclear reactors. Still waiting for the red chips. I guess we can grab them off the blue science belt for now, as we should be prioritizing power over all else. I've still got some concrete in the basement, but we'll have to make some additional concrete for the rocket silo in that case. And that should be the full nuclear power plant handcrafted. But before we produce any yellow signs, our Mark II productivity modules are done, so let's reclaim them. And then we can stick them in the labs. As well as in the yellow and purple science assemblers. Now the labs run 32% productivity bonus and the assemblers 44%, and together that almost doubles the value of every science pack. With every single science pack produced, we can research 1.9 beakers of technology at this point. And we are just getting started. Since War Beacon 4 is almost complete, it is the highest time to start up yellow science as well, as we will need it to research War Beacon level 5. And that is yellow science running as well. And now we've really done it. We are using more power than this 160 megawatt reactor can sustainably produce. We are now running on the extra steam stored in this tank, so let's get that second nuclear reactor up. However, we already used up most of our nuclear fuel cells and we've only got 20 per reactor remaining, or 10 in this case, as we'll need some to fire up the new reactor. This basically equates to just 30 more minutes of power before we enter a total blackout. We just flip this blueprint vertical, build the 2 reactors ourselves, so we can immediately start heating them up. Nice. Now we just need to wait until this bad boy reaches 500 degrees and then we will have doubled our power output. Alright, the War Beacon. We unlocked its 4th module slot. We can either speed up our machinery by roughly 50% by adding another speed module, or we could go for another productivity module, giving 10% more productivity to the entire warp factory floor. As we're going to be away from the base for a bit as we've got some urgent tasks outside to complete, I opt to go for more productivity in this case. That means the entire base is going to produce even more resources out of the same ingredients, although they will do it a little bit slower. Our science assemblers are up to 54% productivity bonus, and the labs to 42. Together, that turns every single science pack ingredient to almost 2.2 science packs worth of research technology. Amazing! However, compared to yellow science, which still has 38 sets of ingredients available, Purple Science has almost run out, so we first need to give Purple Science a bit of extra ingredients so we can complete the research of Warp Factory Beacon 5. However, we really don't have that much resources available, so we'll have to precisely measure out like 100 sets of ingredients or so, which requires 1000 red chips. 500 red chips for the modules, the other 500 red chips go in the furnaces, and of course you've got 2k stone bricks and 2k steel, and the rest of the 3000 steel is gonna be for rails, which is exactly running out this moment as we are consuming the final Purple Science ingredients. Half in here, half in here, and I already brought the stone over off cam, as well as some extra iron plates for the sticks. So now we just have to wait for these to complete and these to complete, and then we can head on our outside adventure. There is two main reasons we need to get out there. The first reason is coal. As this is my very last coal, I have no more coal available in any of these chests, and the Warp Factory floor is running out. The second reason is security. The pollution is seriously creeping up on our mining platforms now, and all of these nearby biter nests are absorbing lots of pollution, which could lead to way larger attacks than just the pollution of the mining platform would generate. However, the sulfuric acid hasn't run out yet on the uranium mine, and we have not produced the required shiny green rocks yet, so we'll have to hold out here just a little longer. But that means I think it is finally time to upgrade to red ammo in our gun turrets here, as that would increase the raw damage outputs of these gun turrets to roughly 40 instead of 25. And considering the Behemoth Biter's 12 armor, that would basically triple the gun turret's damage outputs against those. We've got our 100 modules and our 100 furnaces, which means we can, next to this yellow science, also start producing purple science again. Hopefully that will be able to finish the technology. A quick check confirms that next to the first reactor, the second reactor is now running as well, increasing our maximum power output to 320 megawatts sustained. At least for as long as those 8 fuel cells will still last. So before we head out, let's also upgrade the blue science assemblers to the shiny Mark III assemblers. And outfit it with some extra productivity. That should lead to more red chips getting stocked up in this chest. And now the Warp Factory floor alone is consuming more power than the single nuclear reactor could provide. And with Warp Factory Beacon 5 being completed, we are finally covering all of our machinery under the power of the Warp Factory Beacon. And we've even unlocked a new module slot. So let's speed back up our machines. Thanks to starving blue science for a while by using this priority output, we also have enough red chips to start up blue chips one more time. Alright, no more procrastination, it's time to go. Let's pick up all of this red ammo and we will go back to researching some other backlog technologies, like the weapon shooting speed upgrades, which will benefit our gun turrets. We are going to be picking up our iron mining platform, so let's infuse the steel smeltery with a fresh batch of iron plates before we do so. It's time to exchange this 25 damage yellow ammo for 40 damage red ammo, finally! Alright, let's see if we can still make our way over to the uranium mine through this thick pollution cloud over here. Well, driving at 30 UPS is a lot simpler than driving at 60 UPS. But for now, I gotta ferry all of this coal inside. And that's the last of it. Now we've got a total of 33,000 coal again. I took the 23 uranium-235 from the basement to see how much we have in total now. And it looks like we have 55 in total. That's great, because we need only 40 to start off Coverx enrichment processing, which means we can turn an additional 15 uranium-235 in fuel cells. And we can use the warp beacons productivity modules to get the maximum bang for the buck. Well, that is such great news. I really don't want to go back to put the iron mining platform back smack in the middle of this dangerous pollution. All of these nests are now being severely polluted by the warp platform, so I'd rather just pack up the uranium mine, the coal mine, and escape with all of our business out to the relative safety of this copper mining area, where we've got a new iron mining patch and a new coal mine available. Uranium is nowhere nearby, but I suspect we won't be needing to mine more uranium until we manage to warp back to our home planet. That's too bad. Oil is cheap. We are all set to start making the journey out to our new home. But instead of taking the car and driving there, we take the car. And pick up the iron platform from inside. Then we just quickly make the transfer over to the copper side. And voila! We have made it all the way over to our new home. And the iron starts flowing back into the base. And that is a good thing too, because we have spent almost half of our iron reserves while the iron mine was disconnected. And after quickly rebuilding the coal mine in the new location, and upgrading to red ammo everywhere, we are finally well, as I was saying, after quickly rebuilding the coal mine in the new location, we are finally mining all 5 resources again which we need to be able to warp home. Next time.